All right, hey everyone, thank you so much for coming, and I'm really excited to kick off our first ever Cryptology meeting. My name is Tarja Sethi, and today we're diving into a really cool part of history, and honestly, a part of our daily lives, even if we don't realize it. We're going to start with one of the very first ways people ever try to keep their messages secret, something called the Caesar Cipher. It's simple, but genius, and by the end of today, you'll know how it works, how to crack it, and even how to create your own secret messages. Before we get into the works, let's just step back for a second. What is cryptology anyway? At its core, cryptology is the study of secret writing, how to create codes, and how to break them. Imagine you're living 2,000 years ago. You can't just send a text or a message. If you wanted to send something like a message, for example, the enemy attacks tomorrow, something super important that you don't want falling into the wrong person's hands, you'd have to find a way to protect that message from being read by anyone else who might intercept it. And honestly, not much has changed from that. Today, cryptology is what protects our text, emails, credit cards, and even national secrets from other people. So even though it started thousands of years ago, cryptology is still absolutely everywhere in our lives. You use it every single day without even thinking about it, whether this is with protecting your bank accounts or merely by putting your password in your phone. Now, two big words we need to know before we could really get into it is encryption and decryption. Encryption is the process of scrambling a message so nobody but the intended person can understand it. And decryption is a process of unscrambling that message and making it readable again. It's kind of like locking and unlocking a treasure chest. Encryption locks up the chest while decryption opens it. And here's the most important part. You need the right key to unlock it. Without the key, you're just guessing. So today, we're going to see this idea, locking, unlocking, or encryption and decryption, and the importance of the key in what is called cryptology. All right, let's get into it. The Caesar Cipher. The story goes that Julius Caesar himself used this message to send secret orders to his generals while he was conquering the Roman Empire. And what's amazing is how simple it was. He would take his message and shift every letter forward in the alphabet by a set number of places. That number was a secret, or it was also known as the key, like we had mentioned earlier. For example, if the key was 3, then we would shift the alphabet by 3 letters. For example, if we start with A, the first letter in the alphabet, we would count 3 forward. So the first forward would be B, then C, and then D. So A would become D. Next, if we try to do the letter C, which is the third letter in the alphabet, we would go C, then D, then E, and then F. And since F is the third letter after C, C would encode to F. So if you really didn't know the key, all you would see was gibberish and text that is unreadable to the human eye, and you have no idea what the real message was. At least, that was the idea that Julius Caesar himself thought about. So today, we will also talk about why this secret doesn't stay perfect forever. All right, so now you might be thinking, okay, that's cool, but why didn't we use something so basic? Why wouldn't people be able to figure it out? Well, back in Caesar's time, most people couldn't even read, let alone decode secret messages. And even if they did capture or intercept one of these messages, if they didn't know the key, it would take a lot of work to crack it, because this was the first type of secret messages, so many people didn't even know what they were looking at when they first saw the text. Nowadays, if people were to intercept a message like this, they would instantly think that it is some type of hidden message, because why in the world would someone just be sending gibberish to another person? The Caesar Cipher was quick, easy to memorize, and very fast to use, especially when you need to move armies around and make decisions quickly in a time of war. Plus, it introduced one of the biggest ideas in all of cryptology, the concept of a hidden key. The idea that you could hide a message in plain sight, and the only way to understand it was by knowing the true secret. But of course, nothing stays secret forever. The Caesar cipher has some major flaws. The biggest one is that there's only 25 possible keys, because shifting by 0 really means that you're not shifting anything. For example, A, the first level with the 0 shift, pretty much means a no shift, so A becomes A. So really, there's only 25 options, as there are 26 letters in the alphabet, and one of them won't work. If you captured a message and really wanted to crack it, and you knew that it was a Caesar cipher, technically, you could just sit there and try shifting the letters by 1, then 2, then 3, all the way to 25, until you finally had an answer and a message that is readable. It's like having a password that's just one digit. It's not secure at all. Someone could just try every single letter or number, and eventually they would get that password. And that is why today we use much stronger encryption methods. However, the Caesar cipher was still a huge first step in mankind. It taught people that information could be hidden, could be protected, but also that it could be unlocked, and that nothing stays secret forever, if you have the right tools and the right mind. All right, so now we are going to do an example. Say the key was 3, which is apparently Julius Caesar's favorite key to use. So let's start with the letter H in the word hello. So H, what comes after H? If you said K, you would be correct. All right, next we have the letter E. So let's think about it first. All right, so we have E, and then we have F, and then G, and then H. So the next letter would be H. All right, next we have 2 letters which are the same, which are L. Technically, in a type of cipher like this, there is one key for the entire word. Therefore, whatever L encodes to for the 3rd letter must be the same letter that L must encode to for the 4th letter. So let's figure that out. If you said O, that would be correct, because first we have L, then we have M, which is our first, then N, which is our second, and then O, which is our 3rd. Let's check. Yep. All right, let's do the last letter. All right, so if you said that O would become R, that would be correct, because first we have O, and then P, then Q, then R. So pretty much this plain text with a shift of 3 using the Caesar cipher would become the word KHOOR. All right, so now just have some simple examples for you all, and it's your choice whether or not you'd like to do them. And I'll give you guys about, let's say you guys can pause the video, maybe about 10 seconds, and I'll go over them with you guys. All right, so I hope you guys pause the video, and I'm going to give you guys an explanation. So first, we're going to start with this word, which is 8 letters long. So we know that it's going to be an 8-letter word because no letter could become a space or a number. So let's start with the letter E. Using a shift of 15, let's hope you guys got this right. It would be the letter P. And then the D, after 15 shifts, would become O. Z would become K. T would become E. B would become M. D would become O. And C would become N. So, therefore, our letter would be Pokemon. And we know that that is right because that is an eligible word. And since it does become something that is a true word, we could assume that it is correct. All right, here is the next example, and I'm going to give you guys another 10 seconds to pause the video, figure it out, and then unpause when you are done. All right, so let's get started. So we could see, counting the letters, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 letters. So pretty much our plain text should be 5 letters long. So with the key of 9, we'll start with the letter V, and with the key, we'll get the letter M. Then the J becomes an A, the W becomes N, the P becomes G, and the X becomes O. So pretty much our word is mango. And since that is a real word, we can safely assume that this is what the text decodes to. All right, the last example, I'll give you guys another 10 seconds. All right, so this word begins with the letter G. And since we're decrypting, we go backwards. So G with a shift of 5 will become B. Z would become U. We have two W's in a row, meaning that they will become the same letter, and they become R. The N becomes an I, the Y becomes a T, and the T becomes an O, making the word burrito. All right, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video about cryptology and the Caesar Cipher, and we will plan on posting more videos of different ciphers in the future. Bye, have a good one.